Dear students, in today's class of session 3, we will going to discuss some of the aspects of electrosynthesis. This is unit 4 of chemistry syllabus of 4th semester of Coimbatore University. Myself Dr. Ganesh Acharya, Assistant Professor, Department of Chemistry, IDSG Government College, Mangaluru. Today let us understand the fundamental concepts and principles in the electroorganic synthesis. Now, before understanding this concept, let us see what is an electrochemical reaction. So this is a reaction which is brought about by supplying an external electric current, particularly DC current, to the cell containing the electrodes anode and cathode. Alright, the reaction which is taking place on anode is obviously oxidation or loss of electron, and the reaction which is taking place on the cathode is called as the reduction reaction or electronation reaction. Alright, so these two reactions are called as the half cell reactions, right? So in every electrochemical reaction there will be half cell reactions, that is two half cell reactions. One is a cathodic reaction and the other one is anodic reaction, right? So these reactions takes place simultaneously whenever you are performing an electrochemical reaction, right? So on the cathode there occurs the the electronation reaction. On the other hand, on anode there occurs oxidation or loss of electrons. Now if you look at the two reactions, that is equation 1.1 and 1.2. So equation 1.1 is a cathodic reaction because there is a gain of electron to form an intermediate, to a product C. And on the other hand, on the anodic reaction there is loss of electron to form a product D. So overall reaction will be A plus B gives rise to C plus D is a general reaction. Overall cell reactions can proceed either spontaneously or by imposing on the cell a certain external electric potential as a driving force. Alright. Now we have understood that the electrodes are the major part of any electrochemical reaction. So in the organic electrosynthesis, we are mainly interested in one of the half cell reactions. Either it may be cathodic reaction or it may be anodic reaction. So the reaction occurs on the working electrode. So the working electrode may be either anode or a cathode, right? The other half cell reaction takes place at the auxiliary electrode or a counter electrode, which is of no direct synthetic interest. However, there are cases in which both anodic and cathodic reactions are considered for synthetic purpose, that is called as paired electrosynthesis. Now, in our previous class we have discussed about the apparatus used in the electrosynthesis. Once again we shall recall the basic apparatus. So in principle the electrochemical method of synthesis is practiced in the organic laboratory is relatively very simple. It is because the basic laboratory apparatus consists of only a simple ordinary glass beaker and two electrodes, that is anode and cathode, and a reference electrode and a DC power source. That's all. So it is very simple to construct an electrochemical cell for a synthetic purpose. A voltmeter or an ammeter are inserted in the external circuit for voltage and current measurements. So the diagram for the cell design looks like this. Okay, here you have used a DC power source, but here you have used a potentiostat for the external power supply. right? Now, the physical and chemical processes that are taking place, majorly as we have discussed, it is either the electronation reaction, that is reduction reaction, or de-electronation reaction or oxidation reaction. So due to this, there are physical and chemical changes occurs during this particular reaction. So motion of electrons in the external circuit, that is electronic current, and the motion of ions in the solution, that is ionic current, takes place during electronation, that is reduction, and de-electronation, that is oxidation of a chemical species, taking place on cathode and anode respectively. So these are the primary electrodic reduction oxidation reaction that leads to the isolated chemical products at the end. Okay. Now, the fifth point about the electrosynthesis is electrolysis conditions, solvents and electrolytes. Now, whenever you are carrying out a reaction, you must need a medium, okay, to take the reactants. Okay, a reactants generally consists of certain the functional groups. They are called as electrophores in the electrochemical terminology. So, preparative electrolysis are generally performed under either controlled potential or constant current conditions. So it may consist of one compartment or two compartment cells depending upon the requirement in the electrosynthesis. So there are three types of solutions that are commonly used. They are aqueous, organic and organic. So these are majorly three types of solutions that are used for the synthetic purpose. So generally aqueous solutions are protic, and organic solutions may be protic or aprotic. Okay, so the organic substances must be soluble or at least partially soluble in the solvent system, and the solvent must be able to dissolve sufficient amount of supporting electrolyte uh, to become ionically conductive. So the purpose of adding supporting electrolyte to make the substrate conductive. Okay, the electrolyte may be neutral salt or an acid or a base and must be ionized in the electrolysis medium. Okay, the ions of the electrolyte may or may not participate in the electrochemical reactions. It is possible in some special electrosynthesis to avoid the need of soluble electrolytes. That means sometimes you may need electrolyte, supporting electrolyte, or sometimes you may not. Okay, so the generalized electroorganic reactions, if you look at the very fundamental event in all organic reactions carried out by electrochemical method, is as shown on the right hand side of this slide. The organic substrate here taken as R. R means a reactant. It consists of a functional group called as electrophore, is considered to undergo electron transfer reaction as a primary step in the overall reaction. It may be either anodic or cathodic reaction. Generally, in all these reactions, the primary process is the electron transfer. That means when you brought the reactant from the bulk to the surface of electrode, there occurs electron transfer, okay, between the electrode and the substrate. So if you look at the anodic reactions here, I have shown few examples here where you can see the formation of disproportionation reaction and dimer dication formation and nucleophilic addition and dication formation and a radical formation and a carbonium ion formation and a dimer formation. So these are few different types of reactant that can occur in a anodic reaction. And in the cathodic reaction, it may be either dimer dianion or electrophilic addition or dianion or disproportionation or dimer or carbonanion. Okay, so these are cathodic reactions, right? Now, if you look at the cell design here, it may be undivided or divided, and the electrodes may be inert, active, or sacrificial cathode, or having high surface area. Now, the modes of operation may be galvanostatic, that is constant current, and potentiostatic, that is additional reference electrode necessary to control the potential. Okay, so these are major aspects that are used in the all electrosynthetic reaction. That is, you have to consider cell design, you have to consider a particular type of electrode, and you have to consider the mode of operation and what type of electron transfer occurs in a cell. So these are some of the fundamental aspects that you have to consider while carrying out an electrochemical reaction for the synthetic purpose. So this is a pictorial representation of the electron transfer here. The substrate is brought to the electrode surface to form intermediates 1, 2 and 3. Finally, it may form product. All these reactions depends upon electrode material, that it may be in a catalytic reaction, and it depends upon potential, over potential, current density, supporting electrolyte. And considering electrolyte, it must be depending upon ionic strength, solvation, convection, and the flow of substrate from the bulk to the electrode, and temperature and applied charge. So these are the fundamental aspects that you have to consider while carrying out the electrosynthetic reactions. So let us stop it here. So we shall discuss in our next class about the remaining aspects. You can go through these textbooks to understand in thorough about the basic